नमस्कार, सलाम, सत श्री अकाल, हेलो टू कनाडा। आप सबका स्वागत है हमारे प्रोग्राम कैलगरी फोकस में। ये प्रोग्राम आप देखते हैं हमारे अपने फेवरेट टीवी चैनल पंजाबी नेशनल पर। मैं आपका होस्ट, आपका दोस्त अमृत बराड़, आप सबका स्वागत करता हूं अपने इस प्रोग्राम में और आशा करता हूं आपका लास्ट वीक बहुत बढ़िया गया होगा, खुशियों से भरा गया होगा, सेहत से भरा गया होगा और आने वाले वीक के लिए ही आप सबके लिए हमारी यही प्रार्थना है। कैलगरी में या पूरे कनाडा में इस समय विंटर्स दस्तक दे रहा है, ऑलमोस्ट आ चुका है और बहुत जगह पर स्नो ऑलरेडी पड़ चुकी है। अगर हम बात करें ओंटारियो की या हम बात करें थोड़ा सा और आगे जो प्रोविंसेस हैं जैसे कि मैनिटोबा है, वहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा बर्फ़ इस समय गिर रही है। वी बीन लिटिल लकी दैट एल्बर्टा हैज़ नॉट सीन दैट काइंड ऑफ स्नो सो फार, लेकिन the time is coming and I'm very sure that we will have a big haul of snow pretty soon. Vancouver is really getting hit by floods, तो सारी प्रार्थना वहाँ के लोगों के लिए so that they are safe. We just pray to God that everything is good very soon over there. हमारे प्रोग्राम में हम यही कोशिश करते हैं to make you guys aware that what's going to be happening in case there is snow is there and how the things are done by the city of Calgary to make sure कि वो जो snow है वो clear हो जाए टाइम से, और उसके लिए क्या क्या प्रबंध हमारी जो कैलगरी की टीम है फॉर रोड मेंटेनेंस की वो क्या कर रही हैं, उसके बारे में हम लोग आपको आज अवेयर करवाएंगे। तो उसके लिए आज हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं मिस्टर क्रिस, जो कि मैनेजर हैं मेंटेनेंस के फॉर द सिटी ऑफ कैलगरी रोड्स डिपार्टमेंट। आइए मिलकर उनका स्वागत करते हैं और जानते हैं उनसे कुछ चीज़ें जो हमारे लिए बहुत फ़ायदेमंद हो सकती हैं इस विंटर सीजन में। सर, वेलकम टू द शो।
Thank you very much.
I hope you were trying to understand that what I was saying to the people, but I was just making them aware that why you are here and how what you will help us to understand today. So to start with, sir, what is exactly the role of roads department for the city of Calgary?
Good question. I would say that the role of the roads department is to create a safe and effective mobility network for all users. So whether you walk or ride a bike, whether you drive a car, wheel or take a bus, we want everyone to be able to get around safely and effectively.
Wow. So all the roads whichever we drive in the city of Calgary, starting from one border to the one corner to the other, from east, west, north, south, it's all taken care by you guys, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, we look after all of it.
So just to understand, every quadrant is divided between people, or it is just one team which goes everywhere?
Good question. So we have one large team. We divide the city into 5 districts.
Right.
A northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, and central. And each of those, we have 9 depots that service the whole city. 2 in each quadrant and then 1 in the central district.
That's amazing. So it's like people say, oh, there is just one depot and all the trucks comes from there, and that's why it takes a lot of time. That is just a myth, right?
Just a myth. No, we spread our resources out quite nicely right across the city.
Amazing. So today we will also try to educate or make aware create awareness about the snow cleaning process, which gonna be happening pretty soon in Calgary, and that is the most important part of winters, because if the roads are not clean enough, then people cannot reach anywhere, especially where people are relying on city transport or they are using their own vehicles. The roads are important, as you know that, sir, because a lot of people still they use buses to reach to their destinations, and if the roads are not cleaned in a way where it is safe for the buses to drive, then it doesn't work out. Now, how does a snow cleaning process works? Like, what kind of reasonable snow you wait for and then start, like how everything works, sir?
Okay, well, we start our snow clearing process before a storm.
Okay.
Right, depending on what we expect to see coming, depending on the temperatures, we might go out and pre-treat roads with a liquid, either a salt brine or a calcium solution. What that does is that stops the snow and ice from bonding to the road.
Okay.
It keeps it from getting too slippery. Once the snow starts to come down, that's when we get out there with our equipment, right? And we work on those main roads, the priority 1 roads, we call them. That's your McKnight Boulevard, Crowchild, McLeod, right? We get onto those roads, we make sure that they're being taken care of while the snow is falling.
Right.
While we do that, we'll also look at some of the secondary, the priority 2 roads, some of the hills and spots that might be a little troublesome if we don't deal with them. So we'll deal with those during a storm as well. Once the snow has stopped, that's when we get into our 7-day plan. We have a 7-day plan.
Okay.
Essentially on the first day of that plan, once the snow is stopped, we will clear all those priority 1 roads. We'll make sure they're down to bare pavement and that they're safe.
Now, sorry to interrupt you over here. Priority 1 roads means which are the one? Which is priority 1?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So priority 1 roads, you're looking at our bigger roads. High traffic volumes, like I said, McKnight Boulevard, Crowchild Trail, Glenmore, McLeod Trail, all the big roads. Those are our priority ones.
Stony and Deerfoot?
Stony and Deerfoot are actually provincial roads.
Okay.
So we don't manage them with the City of Calgary resources. They are taken care of by the province.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, okay. So that they have a separate program then from City of Calgary then?
They do. I mean, we work very closely with them.
Okay.
Make sure that we have good transition points and crossover, and we help each other as needed. But yeah, Stony Trail and Deerfoot Trail both taken care of by the province.
So where is their depot then?
They have depots a little all over as well.
Okay.
They have a few around the periphery of the city, and also some locations inner city.
Okay, and what that department is called, sir?
Well, that would be Alberta Transportation.
Alberta Transportation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Then it's amazing. Okay, now you said there is a liquid which you spread on the roads before the snow comes, so that the snow does not stick on the road. What kind of liquid is that?
Well, we have 3 that we use, depending on the weather conditions. We have a salt brine, which is essentially just a salt solution.
Right.
We have calcium chloride, which is for slightly colder weather. And then we also have a beet brine, which is a salt and beet solution, which we use on some areas as well.
Okay, and all those solutions, why I ask that people like sometimes have the myth that if there is something such kind of solution on the road, it might hamper their tires or the lower of their car. It doesn't do that, right?
No, we make sure to use them properly, right? There are weather conditions where you could cause issues, so we know what those operating temperatures are and what those sort of road conditions are,
right?
And we make sure we use them effectively.
Great. Now, that first step is taken where we spread the liquid so that everything is fine. Now the snow falls, and we were talking about the priority 1. Then what is priority 2 for you guys on the second day?
Priority 2 is mainly our bus routes.
Okay.
But I would, examples of a priority 2 road, Acadia Drive, Signal Hill Drive, Kensington. It's those types of roads. They typically see between about 5,000 and 20,000 vehicles per day. So busy roads, but not quite as busy as those main priority 1s. And that's right. Once we've cleared those priority 1s, then on day 2 we get in and clear the priority 2s.
Okay, and then after that, what is the follow through?
After that, we have sort of day 3 through 7, and that's where we are looking into our residential roads, what we would call our priority 3 and 4 roads. The other thing to know is that while we may be focusing on those priority 3s and 4s, it doesn't mean we won't have to come back to the 1s and 2s.
Right.
As we get some freezing and thawing, we may get some drifting snow. So we always keep those priority 1s and 2s top of mind. But day 3 to 7 of the plan, typically we'll be spending most of our time in the residential areas, making sure that they're safe.
So if we talk about residential areas, sir, do we go on? How do you decide upon which area to go first? Or every depot just go in their area and they just do that, right?
That's right, yeah. So each depot has an assigned area, and we work them in order. Sometimes we'll base it on there may have been more severe snow in one area than another. We may have a number of calls of concern in one area, so we might go and look at that sooner. But basically it's broken up by depot, and we take care of that whole network within that kind of 4-day period.
The basic or the main hub for contacting city is through 311.
That's right.
So does your department rely on 311 to go into these areas, or you guys have your own people which go around and check and then assess that, okay, maybe there are people who are not calling 311, but this area needs to be plowed a little bit early. So you guys work on that, or you just go with 311?
No, absolutely. So we do a balance of 311, and we have foremen out all the time, and our operators are out all the time, and they have a really good sense of what needs attention. So we can typically deploy our resources where it's most needed, where they're most needed.
Amazing. तो हम बात कर रहे हैं मिस्टर क्रिस ह्यूट से, जो कि मैनेजर हैं मेंटेनेंस के सिटी ऑफ रोड्स डिपार्टमेंट में. तो उनका यही कहना है कि पहले डिसाइड किया जाता है कि कहाँ पर ज़रूरत है. हर एक डिपो है, हर एक डिपो की अपनी एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, एंड देयर आर वेरियस डिपोज जो कि कैलगरी में काम करते हैं, और उनके हिसाब से जो लिक्विड रोड्स पे डाला जाता है, दैट हेल्प्स कि जो स्नो गिर रही है दैट डजंट स्टिक टू द ग्राउंड, और जो स्नो गिरे उसके बाद वो आराम से क्लीन हो सके. अगेन काफ़ी बड़ा एरिया है कैलगरी का, लेकिन फिर भी कोशिश इनकी यही है कि उसको हमारे हिसाब से क्लीन कर सकें. Mr. Chris, my next question to you is that there are new areas which are coming up in Calgary, especially in Northeast. We have seen huge number of new communities which has come up, and there are roads which are there which are connecting, and as per we see, or we are hearing that soon the LRT also might be coming to that side of till Skyview. But again, the roads are the most integral part of any kind of development happening anywhere. So I have a few questions about that. They're not so difficult. It's just I'm very sure that you will be able to talk about it. We'll just take a small break and we'll join after that.
Absolutely.
आप सुन रहे हैं और आदत देख रहे हैं प्रोग्राम कैलगरी फोकस ओनली ऑन पंजाबी नेशनल टेलीविजन. एक छोटा सा ब्रेक, और ब्रेक के बाद हम लोग अपनी बातचीत मिस्टर क्रिस के साथ जारी रखेंगे. देखते रहिए कैलगरी फोकस ओनली ऑन पंजाबी नेशनल टेलीविजन. वेलकम बैक. एक बार फिर से स्वागत आपका हमारे प्रोग्राम कैलगरी फोकस में. हम लोग बातचीत कर रहे हैं मिस्टर क्रिस ह्यूट से, जो कि मैनेजर हैं मेंटेनेंस के सिटी ऑफ कैलगरी के रोड्स डिपार्टमेंट में. Mr. Chris, before we went for a break, we were just talking about the new areas which are developing. Now, there are certain times where people see a lot of construction, like the roads are coming up. I just wanted you to make us aware a little bit, like, are those roads which are just coming up, are they are made by the city initially, or they are done by developers?
Yeah, so I mean, the new roads that are coming in with new communities are built out by developers.
Right.
Once they're finished, they're then turned over to the city for maintenance.
तो बहुत लोगों को ये बहुत बड़ा एक प्रॉब्लम होती है कि कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रही है, वहाँ पर रोड बन रही है, and we think that that is done by the city of Calgary and they don't care about those roads, but there is a way, there is a pattern. Initially those roads are developed by the developers, जो वहाँ के एरिया के जो मेजर डेवलपर्स हैं उनकी तरफ से वो रोड बनाई जाती है. उसके बाद वो सिटी को हैंड ओवर करी जाती है, वो उसके बाद उसके देख रेख करनी शुरू करते हैं. A very big problem what people face is street cleaning, or rather snow clearance from the inside of the area, the inside roads which are there in a community where the sun does not reach, or people have to wait many days to get it clean. And this has been going since long time, sir. Is city or your department coming up with some plan in near future that if in case the budget is increased, that is more important, that if the budget is increased, do you guys have any future plan that you will go in these smaller areas also and inner roads also to clean those roads, or not?
Well, interesting. There's two different things I would talk about there. Firstly, I think it's important that we know that when we're talking about residential roads, our priority 3s and 4s,
right,
we would call them, we do have a different level of service in our policy.
Right.
Right? On those major roads, the priority 1s and 2s, we have a bare pavement policy when it comes to snow and ice. So we will remove snow and ice right down to bare pavement. When you get into the priority 3s and 4s, we don't have that same level of service. What we're looking at in those streets, those residential roads, is to ensure that they're passable, that they're safe, and that can mean that there's a few inches of hard packed snow or ice in those areas, but that they are passable. Right. What we will do is we will make sure that there aren't large ruts in the areas which make them difficult to drive on.
Right.
We'll also apply some material in spots where traction might be an issue. At stop signs or yield signs or maybe up and down hills.
Right.
We might put some gravel on the roads there to make sure they're passable. So that speaks to the level of service. Now, interestingly enough, this year, we've made a small change to our policy, and we will have the ability to do things slightly differently in the residential areas if we have a major event.
Okay.
Not unlike what we had last year in December. We had almost 40 centimeters, more than 40 centimeters in some areas over a very short time period.
Right.
And obviously that makes it difficult to get around in those residential areas.
Of course.
So council acknowledged that this year. They provided some support to us, allowing us to declare a snow emergency.
Right.
If that happens. And that will let us leverage additional resources, additional equipment, and get more quickly into those residential roads, right? Where we will go and we will actually plow out those residential roads.
That's amazing. That's a good news for everyone, right?
It's great news. Now, we don't often get those types of events, but they are becoming more frequent. And over the last few years, we've had more than we might have had in the previous 10.
Right.
So, we want to be prepared for that. We want people to be able to get in and out of their neighborhoods safely.
Right.
And so that's a great change that's coming this year.
In Ontario, I have seen that they put salt on the roads, right, to melt it. But here we put gravel and we put little stones, what do you call them? The pebbles type.
Pickle.
Pickle,
Call it pickle.
Yeah. So why it is done over here? Why not be putting up stone? Any special reason for that?
Well, now we actually use salt as well as pickle.
Okay.
So when we're in slightly warmer weather, anywhere from 5 degrees to minus 10 or 12, we'll use salt to address the snow as it's falling and when it's falling.
Okay.
Once we get colder than that, into minus 13, 14 and getting colder, salt stops being as effective. We find that the snow and ice will still freeze, bond to the road. And so that's when we get into plowing and applying pickle, which is a small gravel, mixed with a very small amount of salt. Right. And that's to create traction. Right, you get it down on the ground and you actually have that traction caused by the grid.
So salt does not create traction?
No, salt melts, salt disappears quite quickly. If we're putting salt out 3-4 hours in a good snowstorm and salt is gone, right? It's done its job, it's kept the snow and ice from freezing to the road, let us plow it off, but no, it doesn't stay around very long.
So in a way, this pickle is much more effective for the safety of the vehicles, right?
Well, salt is great if we're able to get the road cleared to bare pavement, right? That's excellent. When we can't do that, it is important that we have pickle and create traction for cars.
Exactly.
So you're right, when we get to that really cold weather, really icy conditions, that's when we want to get pickle down, the gravel down, to make sure there's traction for vehicles, help them start, help them stop.
The other difference, it's just a conversation I'm having with you, like if we talk about the other provinces, they have like the salt, they are saying, but this pickle has stones, small pebbles, right? And they are also, people think that it's a safety hazard also because it can break your windscreen or give a chip. So where do you measure that? Like, that is still manageable rather than getting hit somebody, or
That's right. It's always a balance, right? Everything we do has a balance. Using salt, there's impacts of using salt, so we have to be responsible with our salt use. Same as there is with pickle, right? You're right. Road pebbles can kick up, damage windscreens, but again, the balance is that it prevents collisions.
You're absolutely right. And I just want to put another point over there, because बहुत सारे लोगों से बात होती है in other provinces में, तो Ontario में they say salt is much more effective, but it, on the other side, and correct me if I'm wrong, it bring rust to your vehicle.
Yeah.
The salt, right?
Sure. Yeah, no, it's true. Salt and metals in vehicles don't go well together.
Yeah.
The best thing, there's all sorts of tips you can find, but the best thing you can do is wash your vehicle throughout the winter when you have an opportunity. Just get all that salt off, clean it off, fresh start. and that really prevents a lot of the damage.
हम बात कर रहे हैं मिस्टर क्रिस से, जो कि हमें बता रहे हैं स्नो के बारे, जो स्नो अब गिरने वाली है उसको कैसे हम लोग क्लीन करते हैं और कैसे रादर वो लोग क्लीन करते हैं इस हमारी सिटी के अंदर. Chris sir, now there is a event called Snow Event where the city of Calgary involves Calgary Parking Authority. And then the snow is, if there is a X number, like X meters of snow, centimeters of snow, then they go out and clean those roads pretty quickly, and those roads are called snow routes. Can you put a little bit light on that particular aspect also?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about snow routes, we are talking about our priority 2 roads, our bus routes. And if we have a large accumulation of snow, sometimes what we'll need to do is call, like you said, a snow route parking ban, is what we call it. It can last anywhere from 24 to 72 hours.
Right.
We ask that cars are removed from those routes. They're well signed. People can sign up for notification of when an event is called. And then what we'll do, we'll get into those areas, we will push all the snow to the sides and create space on those roads.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the Calgary Parking Authority comes in and they help you guys to remove those vehicles or do certain things which are needed at that time, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So basically those snow routes are the bus routes where the bus has to go, and that route becomes a priority for you guys to clean it first, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Typically on those roads there can be a lot of parking along the side. And that's why we call the parking ban, right? You don't have that same problem on the priority 1 roads. No one's parking on Crowchild, no one's parking on McKnight. But you get into these bus routes, the priority 2 roads, and we certainly see a lot of cars parked up the side. So when we have a large accumulation of snow, we just need that ability to push it right over to the sides and get it past parked cars, right, where parked cars would be.
Amazing. Another question, what we usually hear it from our listeners and viewers, is about the side street, what do you call the side paths, right, where people are walking, right?
Sure.
Now, when the snow falls, a lot of people think that city will come out and clean those also. But I think, as per as the bylaws, the person who is the owner of the house is the person responsible to clean that particular area in front of their house, so that people can walk from there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right, the street bylaw talks about that, and it requires that any private property owners who are adjacent to a sidewalk, that sidewalk be cleared within 24 hours of the snow stopping. Now what's interesting is the city, in the last few years, is now held, and we were able to provide service to the same standard. It used to be, historically, that it could be 3 to 7 days before we got out and dealt with city-owned sidewalks and pathways. Well, council provided a little more funding recently, and in the last few years we have been holding ourselves to the same standard. And the city, any city-owned sidewalk along city property, a lot of pathways through the park system are all cleared now within 24 hours as well.
That's amazing. हम बात कर रहे हैं मिस्टर क्रिस से, जो कि सिटी ऑफ कैलगरी से हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं. छोटा सा ब्रेक, और ब्रेक के बाद हम लोग अपनी बातचीत जारी रखेंगे. देखते रहिए प्रोग्राम कैलगरी फोकस, ओनली ऑन पंजाबी नेशनल टेलीविजन. वेलकम बैक. एक बार फिर से स्वागत आप सबका हमारे प्रोग्राम कैलगरी फोकस में. आई एम वेरी श्योर आपको ये इन्फॉर्मेशन अच्छी लग रही होगी, आपके काम आएगी, क्योंकि विंटर्स में ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट रहता है कि किस तरह से हम लोग अपनी रोड्स को, अपनी साइड वॉक्स को, अपने घर को, अपनी गाड़ियों को बचा के रख सकते हैं इस विंटर से. बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं ये हमें अफेक्ट ज़रूर करता है, चाहे हमारा कम्यूट हो, चाहे हमारा रोज़मर्रा की ज़िंदगी हो, काम पे जाना है, बच्चों को पिक करना है, स्कूल भेजना है बच्चों को. तो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स विच आर देयर जिसका हमें ख्याल रखना आप चाहिए. तो ये इन्फॉर्मेशन आपके लिए डेफिनेटली इम्पॉर्टेंट रहेगी. सिटी ऑफ रोड्स बहुत काम करती है सिटी के लिए, लेकिन दे ऑल्सो क्रिएट फन फॉर पीपल. और बहुत सारे लोग जो कंप्यूटर सेवी नहीं है, या उनके पास टाइम नहीं लगता है कंप्यूटर पे जाने का, वेबसाइट्स पे जाने का, तो उनके लिए एक छोटी सी इन्फॉर्मेशन है. एक बहुत ही बढ़िया कॉन्टेस्ट सिटी ऑफ रोड्स लेके आई है, जिसको हम दिखा सकते हैं आपको. आप इसको वेबसाइट पे सर्च कर सकते हैं. ये मैं आपको उसका लिंक अभी बताऊंगा. तो ये है स्नो प्लाव कॉन्टेस्ट. सर, कैन यू tell us, our viewers and listeners, what exactly this is.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've done is we have, looking for a way to raise some awareness, get people talking about snow and ice control, the equipment we use. We are going to be doing, and we are doing, a snow plow naming contest.
Okay.
It's aimed at children at schools.
Okay.
And what it is, it gives everyone an opportunity to submit names for what we would name our snow plows. So we have a large fleet, right? We have 90 plus snow plows. So we're looking for a lot of names. And the way this will work is once we've gotten submissions and selected winning names, then they will be displayed on our snow and ice control map.
Wow.
You can see the snow plows going around the city in real time, and their names will be on there. And further to that, we'll actually we'll be creating some decals, putting them on the snow plows so people can see the name of that plow as it drives around the city.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting, right? Something exciting and people to look for, because usually they say, oh, there's a truck going, let it go.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
people can at least go and see the truck and at least, see the name, as you were saying, right?
Hey, absolutely. I mean, I can tell you, if my daughter's class submission got picked and she saw their name on a snowplow, she'd be thrilled, right?
Of course,
it's just,
absolutely.
It's a fun way of getting people involved and creating a little bit of awareness around our programs.
Absolutely. It's the same thing, sir. Like there's a designated day when those guys comes and pick up our garbage and green bins and blue bins. So where I used to live before, so we had a side, galley going at the back to the at the back galley, right? So this guy used to come in his truck, pick up our garbage, and then go to the next house. And fortunately, I used to have, whenever I used to have a day off on that day, I just used to say hi to him, and then offer. Sometimes I went out and offered him a drink, or some soft drink or some juice. So it was a really nice conversation. And then he showed me how the truck works and how the system works in the truck. It was really amazing to see, because just for any person who is sitting inside the house, there is a big arm comes and pick it up and take it inside. But there is a whole process in that, because the person who is operating, that person has to be very precise, very with working with his mind at that time, that the truck, it's a huge truck, should not hit anything else. Same way, the trucks which gonna go out, the equipment, and gonna clean the streets, they are big trucks, and the people who are driving them, they are doing a great job. So I think this is a great way to acknowledge them, and this is a great way to people to get connected with those guys, because if they are cleaning the streets, it is for us, it is for our safety, right? So we owe a huge thanks to those guys, and thanks to you guys, because you plan all those things for us, so that we, the Calgarians, the people who are living here, they can go out and they reach our respective destinations without any problems. अगर आपने इस कॉन्टेस्ट का हिस्सा बनना है, तो आप वेबसाइट पर जा सकते हैं calgary.ca/plow, और यहाँ पर आपको दिखेगा स्नो प्लाउ कॉन्टेस्ट. Name a snow plow contest. Calgary is a winter city and snow is a big part of what makes our city so special. ये आप देख सकते हैं, और इसका जो आपको लेखा जोखा मैं आपसे बता सकता हूँ. During every winter storm, the city has over 50 sanders tackling the snow. These sanders are large trucks fitted with the special insert that stores our sand, salt, pickle mix. The plow driver can then decide when it is best to spread the material out. The sanders are also equipped with the plow, or its underbelly can push snow to the side of the road as it moving along. They are strong machines. So उनका नाम आप रख सकते हैं, और वो नाम उस पर लिखवाया जाएगा, डिकैल बनाया जाएगा, उस पर लिखा जाएगा. So it's a kind of interesting अगर आप इसका हिस्सा बनना चाहते हैं. Mr. Chris, thank you so much for coming over here and giving us such an amazing information about the street cleaning process, which is there every year, but new things are coming up, and you guys are working really hard to help the city. If we have to contact you, rather the roads department, to talk about or complain about or put a request about our city roads problem, what is the best way to reach you guys?
Well, there's two things I would say for snow and ice. Firstly, there's a lot of great information on the city's website at calgary.ca/snow. And then, like you said, we have this plow contest at calgary.ca/plow. And then the next best way, obviously, is 311.
311,
Yeah,
right?
you can get through to us with 311.
One last question. There are certain notifications which are sent, like for example, the garbage pickup day. Do you guys have such system where you send notifications to respective people who register?
Yeah, we do. And the easiest way to sign up for those notifications, again, is on calgary.ca/snow. It can also be done through 311, but I think the website is the easier way.
Perfect. Once again, thank you so much for being here and giving us that information. I'm very sure whoever will listen to this program will be noting the number and the websites, and they will definitely contact you. आपको अगर कोई इशू है, कोई प्रॉब्लम है, तो प्लीज़ आप हमसे कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. जब ये प्रोग्राम आएगा, आप इसका जो लिंक है उस पर आप हमारे साथ रब्ता कर सकते हैं. हमारे स्टूडियो में आप हमसे बात कर सकते हैं. वी कैन गेट बैक टू द रोड्स डिपार्टमेंट टू गेट सम आंसर्स फ्रॉम यू फॉर यू. अगेन, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग कैलगरी फोकस ओनली ऑन पंजाबी नेशनल टेलीविजन. खुश रहें, मस्त रहें और अपना ध्यान रखें. टेक केयर.